Good morning, it's New Year's Day, 2023, and it's Joe. It's about 45 degrees out, overcast and foggy. It rained overnight. Very unusual for New Year's Eve weather. While I was gone in Florida, they had a torrential rainstorm, and it did some interesting things with my little ditch that I've been working on, and I thought I would take another video because we got to do better with the drainage. First, looking up the street, there's a few things you can see. One is, in front of the fire department, they actually put a groove there to channel the water, and I was trying to get it to channel so it went down that chute, but a lot of the water just channeled right straight down here and into my yard in an interesting way, which I'll show you later. It's like a small example of some of these mega trends that you read about in ancient geology that form sediment and fossils and stuff. Anyway, I was not successful in getting it to go down that chute in diverting it, and no matter how I want it to do that way, it did go down. It caused some erosion here in the chute, and a lot of the sand of it ended up in the top end of the stream. So this is about water scooting along the sand. Before I get back to this end of it, I mean, look down here. One of the things is the stream is wider than I started out doing. It's probably 1.5 feet wide now, and my son-in-law tells me there was quite a bit of water down here, which I believe him. But it generally it did its job because the sump pump was working and didn't get overwhelmed, and there wasn't that much standing water in the basement. Now what it did do was, when it ran down straight, it came along the stream this way and made its own new track. So what happened was it eroded a bunch of this and created a ditch there. And then instead of being able to loop back again, what it did from there was it all went down my driveway. Now, if you look back and refer to previous videos, the driveway was clear. There was no sand on it. But I now have sand pile down here that's up to 6 inches thick. And it eroded along the edge of the asphalt and went all the way down before it rejoined my little stream. So I've got some adjustments to make in terms of digging the ditch better. And let's go down the stream and I'll show you what the scoop was. So none of this was here, and it means that when you get out of your car, you are tracking sand into the house, which drives you crazy. I originally had dug this small diversionary thing that brought some water down, but then got overwhelmed and got sand in it, and it forced all the water to continue going all the way down here towards the garage, and made this huge track of up to 3 or 4 inches thick of the sand over the grass. This was a beautiful green grass plot here, and it must have been a torrent. Honest to God, I'm just amazed at how much. And I'm going to try to actually, in the long run, remove all this and get it down to where it needs to, where it can show the grass again, because I don't care to have a permanent sandy spot this big. Back to the stream. I had dug it all out, which I'm glad I did, and straightened it out so that it's going. There's a fair amount of water coming down here even today, and it did rain last night. To give you an idea of how far the sand went, See that island in the middle? That was not there. That's probably a foot of sand in that spot. And I'm just amazed that it traveled this far. I really am. There's a spot where water seems to be seeping out of the fire pond. That's on someone else's property, not my responsibility. But overall, the work that I did the job. And so I have to say that, but I just want to make some adjustments. So I'm probably going to try to do that. Now on the other side, not all of the water came over here, although quite a bit of it did. On the other side, this too evidently had a sheet of water driving down it. And you can just see the debris on the grass from here. That was quite a rainstorm, evidently. That caused some flooding, and due to associated high winds, lots of power went out all over the place. But I got more cleaning to do of this, and hopefully to get it so that sand doesn't accumulate on it again. And that's kind of what it's up to from here. So that's looking up the street here. I mean, you can just see the degree to which along the edge of the asphalt it created a riverbed. I don't want to do that again. I think the best thing for me is actually, first off, I'm partly doing this so I can show the folks from the town. A guy in the neighborhood, been around a long time, told me that there's actually a culvert up the street that's supposed to divert a lot of the water before it gets down here, but that got plugged or blocked somehow. And he had said to me, I wonder how that's going to affect you. Well, I don't really know if there's a culvert up the street. I haven't investigated, but it surely did. Whatever, that rainstorm did affect me, and I want to get it to be better. I think the most logical thing for me to do, first off, I'm going to contact the town because it's within the right of way, and this front part of my driveway, strictly speaking, I think the town might be willing to help me by redoing this part so that it's better. There's obviously a drop-off between the asphalt of the town and my driveway. But then the other piece is, I'm going to dig a different trench like right here, leading from that stream there down this way to see if I can get it all diverted from here. And the last thing is just a closer look at the pool of this. That practically got filled up with sand that came down from the drainage chute. And that's the scoop. Now, Rich, I see your point about getting some rocks in there. Probably going to take some rocks and put them in the drainage chute to like improve, decrease the flow to the point where it doesn't bring that much sand out and erode that badly. But anyway, catch you later. Bye.